Is the screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, till yesterday we have seen the various different kinds of the input elements that you can take into the form. Okay, so I also have discussed the few of the attributes that you can use into this input element, and I also told you the what is the purpose of using those attributes over there. Okay, so coming to the next concept, wherein if you have the more number of the input to be taken for a single case, that is, if you want to provide the more options to the user instead of taking the text input, if you want to provide the options by which the user can select one among that option, so how to do that, or else how, what is the element that is required for creating the such input in the form over there. Okay, so for that, you can see here the one of the option is you can go for using the data list element, right? So you have the two three elements, which is used for the same purpose, but the choice is left to you that which one you are going to use here. Okay, so you can see here the figure indicates here how it is going to be visible in the form if you use the data list, right? So when you have the more number of the options to be provided as a content to be selected by the user, you can go for using the data list, the name of the element as a data list, and the attribute that you need to use for this element is the id, so which should have the one value to it. So any string value of your choice, you can use it for the id, right? So here the user is not able to type anything instant once the user clicks over here, or else if he types a single letter, it is going to show you the all the options that you have created using the option element here. In order to add the multiple options to this, you have to use the option element followed by the whatever the option that you want to create here. So since it is an example of these cities, we are going to take the names of these cities as options to be displayed here, through which the user will be able to select any option from it, any one option from here. And so once you completely add all the options, you can close it by the closing element of the data list. Okay, so similarly you have the select element also, which is popularly used here. Okay, so let's see how to use it and what are the different attributes that you can use to this select element here. So select element is used to create the multi-line box for selecting one or more items. And as usual, in order to add the options to the select, you have to use the option element. Okay, see option, if you have the more number of the options to be created, and if you want to group them into a particular category, you can go for doing that using the opt group as a element here. So I'll show you with an example that how each of these elements are used, but right now you just understand the different elements that you have to use in order to create the multiple options into the form. So the main element that you need to use is the select, under which these two elements are used in order to create the options. So to simply create the options, you can go for using the option element. So suppose if you want to categorize the option to the different groups, you can go for using the opt group as an element within the select element. Okay, so this is an example over here, right? So you can see here the select element has been created, and you have to use the name attributes, right? So I'll go on telling you the which are the attributes that you need to use here. So the name attribute has to be used with the any value to it, and to add the options, the different options to be creation here, for that you need to use the option element followed by the option that you want to create. And once you completely add all the options here, you need to close that select element by the closing select element here. Okay, so these are the different attributes that you can use here. So you can see here, in this case, suppose if you do not use the size attribute, if you simply use only the select element along with the name attribute, right? So you can see here, this is how it is going to be visible, right? So by default it is only going to show the one of the option with a drop down clickable button here. So if you click on this button, you will be able to see the all the options over there, right? So in the next case, what happens if you use the size attribute, and if you take one value to the size attribute, the value to the size attribute is a numeric value which tells that by default how many options needs to be visible once you execute that web page. Okay, so in the earlier case where you have not used the size attribute, by default it is only going to show you the one option as a default over there. If you use the size attribute with the value over there, so whatever the value that you have taken, so that many options is going to be visible as a default once you run this web page. Okay, so coming to the next one, how to use the opt group. So in which cases you can go for using the opt group, right? So before seeing how to use that, first observe this output. What is the difference over here, right? So once you click on the drop down menu, you can see here, of course the cities has been given here, but you want to categorize these cities according to their country, right? So you can see here, the heading of each group is a not option to be selected here. So that is, in this case, the North America and Europe cannot be selected by the user. Okay, so only to tell them that these are the options which can be selected by the user, but you want to show them to the user that these cities belongs to this country, whereas this the name of the country cannot be selected by the user. So user can select only this Calgary, Los Angeles, London, Paris, or the Prague. But you want to give the information to the user that you want to group these cities according to their countries over there. So in that case, how to do that, you can see here under the select with all these attributes. So first, if you want to give the labels to the groups of the options, you have to start with the opt group as an element here. Okay, so the name of the element is opt group. So followed by, it should have the label attribute to give the label to that group, that is North America, and followed to by as many options that you want to group under this heading. Okay, so for this North America, you have the two options you want to include. So that's why you have used the two options followed by the names of the cities and respective closing elements. So once you add all the options under this group, you need to close that opt group. Right. So suppose if you have the one more group to be included, once again you start with the another opt group, give the label to that opt group, and add all the respective options to that, and then close that opt group. And at the last, once you completely add all the options that you want to add along with the groups, you have to close the select element here. Okay, so this is how usually how you can create the multi options input to be taken, choices to be given to the user, where the user will be able to only select instead of typing. He will be able to select one option among it. So the way of choosing is only again the one options. Okay, so where the user will not be allowed to choose the multiple options here. Instead, he will be able to choose only one option among that. So for doing that, you have the various ways here. See again here, whether to use the size attribute or not, whether to use the opt group or not. So it is not going, it is not being to be told to you, right? So instead, so you as a web developer, you are going to decide the what kind of the options that you want to create, whether you want to give the default size to be as a 3 or 4 or 2 to just to show the how many options are there, or else if you just want to keep it as a 1, or else if you want to group the options or not. So it is totally left to you, or else it is totally left to the requirements given by the client. Okay, but at least you should know the what are the different ways that you can use in order to create all these elements here. So coming to the next one, so I told you that you are going to choose the one of the options. So does anyone of you have any doubt over here? Right, so in case of the input text, that is when you are going to read or take the any text value from the user, right? So at that time you are going to create the every individual element with the name as a attribute, which is going to tell that whatever the value that is given by the user will be sent to the server using the value that has been taken for the name attribute. So in this case, you can see here one thing that you can observe here. So you have taken the name attribute only once at the select, right? So, but you have the several different options over here, isn't it? So, can anyone tell me if the user is going to select any one option here, how it is going to be distinguished with the different options here when it is being sent to the server? So, this doubt should arise in you if you genuinely understand this concept. So, you do not ever think only form as a static way of the web page. So always the form has the other side of the processing file as well. When the user is going to send all the data fields, once the user is going to click on the submit button, So all the data filled by the user will be sent to somewhere else which needs to be processed. So the thing arises here. So whatever the user is going to fill all the data in the form, how that data has to be sent to the other side, isn't it? So how that is to be sent, that depends upon the proper attributes that you use in the all the elements that you define here, right? So to this select, you can see here the value is the one attribute that you have to use with the every option over there to get distinguished here. So the name is not able to distinguish with the all the attributes. If it has only one choice, you would have used the value of the name attribute very easily to send the data to the other side, right? See, but how you are going to get distinguished with the every option that you have given here? So how you need to indicate that whether the user has selected the first, whether the user has selected the second, or whether the user has selected the third option to the server side, right? So one thing you just keep in mind that the attribute name or the value is not at all going to make any difference in the form of the visibility of the form as a web page, right? But these attributes are going to play a very important role when you are going to send all the data filled by the user to the server side. So at that time, these are going to play a very important role for which you need to use them properly. Okay, so I'll tell you how to use that. So the value attribute of the option element. So the value attribute needs to be used in the option element, not in the select. Whereas the name attribute has to be used in the select element. Right. So used to specify what value will be sent back to the server once the user selects any one option. So the value of attribute is optional. If it is not specified, then the text within the container is sent instead. Right. So if you skip that, the text what has been selected can be directly sent to the server. So as in this case, you can see here in this first example, no value attribute has been used in the option element. So instead, only the name attribute has been used with the value choices. So for example, if the user selects the second, as in this case, if the user selects the second option, how that value needs to be sent to the server, how to tell that the server the user has selected this option, or what the query string will be constructed. I hope you know what is query string, right? So we have discussed yesterday itself that the query string is a string which tells that the what all the values has been filled by the users, or which all the values has been selected by the users will be sent to the server then, right? So in this case, if the user selects the second option, so how the query string will be constructed, this is the way, right? So question mark choices is the this one, choices is the value of the name attribute is equal to second. So here, since you have not used the any value attribute, so directly whatever the value that has been selected by the user will be assigned to the choices, and that will be sent to the server, right? So how it is going to make easy if you use the value attribute here? So make sure or do remember that the value attribute needs to be used within the option element here. So one thing you do remember here, the name attribute can be same to the all the options, whereas the value attributes needs to be different to the every option here. To get distinguished with the each option, you remember that the value attribute that you are going to use with the option element needs to have the different values for all the options. So in this case, you can see here the first option has the value attribute with the value 1, the second attribute with the value attribute with the 2, and similarly 3 here. So in this case, once you use the value attribute in the option field, suppose if the user is going to use the, again select the second. So in this case, how the query string will be constructed? Again, question mark choices is equal to simply the value that has been selected here. So in the earlier case where the value attribute has been not used, so directly the option which is chosen, that will be sent, but it will be more feasible if you use the value attribute and the proper value to it. So directly that value will be sent to the server to tell that which option has been chosen by the user. Okay, so is it clear? So
Yeah.
usually, many of you who are the beginners to the web development, who have not at all worked on it, will get confusion between the name attribute and the value attribute here. See, make sure that the value attribute needs to be used whenever you have the multiple options creation in your web pages. To properly make it to execute or to make it more feasibility of your web page that you have developed, make sure that you use the proper value attributes at the required elements to tell the server that which option is going to be selected by the user. Okay, so is there any doubt with these two? Right now, only you get
Ma'am,
clarified here, because the value attributes is going to be used in many other places, which I am going to explain in the further slides. Okay, is it clear?
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what if there are 100 options? Do
If you
we
have,
manually need to write 100 values or no?
yes, you need to do that if you have the 100 options.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, some of our classmates are waiting to join.
Okay. There's no one waiting here. See, that's why I tell you, please do join before I start the class. This is how I'll get disturbed once I start the class. Okay, so is there anyone else who wants to join? Okay, so let me continue here. So, any other doubts that you have here? Okay. So, coming to the radio buttons and the check boxes. Alright, so many of you are might be familiar with the radio buttons and the check boxes, right? So, you might have used them while interacting through the internet while filling the any of the forms, isn't it? Yes or no? The best example is the online shopping. So, preferably everyone is having a best experience of the online shopping, isn't it? So while doing the online shopping, once you select the item and once you are going to do the payment, you will be asked to select one of the option, that what kind of the payment you want to do, whether you want to do the payment through the debit card or the credit card or the pay on delivery or the Google the UPI ID, isn't it? So one of the option you will be allowed to select. Have you gone through these options? Have you experienced it?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it? So that is nothing but the result of these radio buttons. See, radio buttons is the one where the user will be able to select only one option. So you will not be allowed to select the multiple options over there. So that is said to be as the radio button, and which is the element that is used to create the radio button is again the input element, but the type attribute should have the value as a radio here. Okay, so along with which you should have the name attribute and also the value attribute to tell that the which option has been selected by the user. Okay, so we'll see here. So this is the example you can see here. So we want to consider this example as label as a continent, for which we have created the three options as a radio buttons, and we want the user to select the any one of this option here. Okay, so how it is created, you can see here. For each of the radio buttons, you need to separately use the input element with the type value as a radio here, right? So you can see here, do remember that all these radio buttons where you are going to create, where you want the user to select one option among this, for that you should have the name attribute with the same values. Do remember this. This you need to remember. If you want to make that, it should be a single group of the radio buttons where the user is going to select one option. For that, the name attribute should have the same value here. Okay, so as in this case, you can see here the name attribute have the value as a where for all the three options, right? But how you are going to distinguish between the the one which is chosen by the user, that is with the values that you have taken for the value attribute here. So in this case, you can see here the value attribute have the values as a 1, 2, and 3. Right. So how it is going to be done here? You can see here, if the user is going to select this option, the query string will be constructed as where. Where is equal to 2 will be sent to the sent to the server side to tell that the user has selected this option with the value as a 2 and the name attribute as a where here. Right. So you can see here one more attribute has been used here as a checked, right? So this attribute has to be used to the any one of the radio buttons where you want to make the any one option as a default to be selected, right? So you might have seen this kind of the option in the whenever you are filling any value, right? Suppose if the user is not going to select the any of the options, at that time, if you wish that the at least by default any one option needs to be selected, even if the user is going to miss that section, so in that case you can make the any one of the element to be made as a default selected by using the checked attributes, not mandatorily to be used. In case whenever you want, or whenever the your client or the your project requires that the any option needs to be selected by default, if the user is going to miss that section, in that case you can go for using the checked attribute for the option which you want to make that as a default to be selected. Clear? Two things you need to remember whenever you are going to create the radio buttons. You should have the two mandatory attributes to be used here. So the name attribute, we should have the same values for all the options, and the value attribute, we should have the different distinguished values for the value attribute for the each of the options here. And this attributes is optional. If you has to be used only in if you want the any one option to be selected as a default there. Am I clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Coming to the next input type that you want to create is the checkboxes. So you only tell me what is the difference between the checkbox and the radio buttons. These things also you might have selected. Correct. So what is the difference between the radio button and the checkboxes?
Checkbox has only two options.
Only two options, not at all. See, neither the radio buttons or nor the checkboxes can have the only two options or the three options. So any number of the options of your choice you can create with these two input types.
Ma'am, in checkbox we can select multiple checks. Ma'am, in radio button we can select only single one.
Yes. See, in using the radio, I told you, right? So you might have experienced it. So if you are provided with the radio buttons, you will not be able to select the multiple options. If in case if you want to select both the North America and the South America, it is not allowed over there. But if the same thing, if you create using the check boxes, you will be allowed to select the multiple options over there. In this case, you can see here both the values has been checked here. That means both the values has been selected by the user. So again, I tell you that no one is going to tell you that whether you need to create the any options with the radio buttons or else you have to create it with the check boxes. So again, it depends upon the requirement that if any of the input needs to be read by the user, in that case, if that requires that the only one option needs to be selected. So just now I told you the example of the payment method in the online shopping, right? So payment method, you don't want the, or else you don't want the allow the user to select the more than one option over there. You just want the user to select the any one option to make the payment, isn't it? So either you want to allow them to select only the make the payment through the debit card, or else you want them to make the payment through the credit card or the UPI ID or the pay on delivery, right? So cannot allow the user to select the more than one option over there. So in that case, it is feasible that it is the best way that you have to use the radio button itself, isn't it? So in any cases, suppose if you want the user, or if you want to allow the user to select the more than one option, in that case, for example, in the online shopping itself, correct? So whenever you are searching for the any element, any item to be shopped over there, so in that case, you can filter it, right? So while filtering, you will be provided with the several options, like you want to just go through the products based upon the reviews, you want to go through the products based upon its production company, right? So there you will be allowed to select the many options over there, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it? So there you will be allowed to select the more than one options, right? So in that case, you can go for creating the options using the check boxes. Okay, so this is the biggest difference between the checkbox and the radio buttons here. Correct. So then how to create the checkbox or the radio buttons here is, see, the label element has been used here. See, only by using the input type is equal to radio or input type is equal to checkbox, it is going to create these buttons here. So in the earlier cases also, it is only going to create the buttons here. In order to give the labels, you can go for using the label element here. So you can see here the label within the label element, you are going to type the text which is going to give the label to that checkbox here. Okay. So you can see here label where you like to visit, and followed by the input type is equal to checkbox. So whereas the rest of the attributes and the purpose of using these attributes remain same how you did it for the radio buttons as well. Correct. So input type is equal to checkbox. So in case if you want to create the checkbox, here the value for the type attribute needs to be checkbox. In the earlier case, it is radio, and followed by the name attribute. As usual, all the values for the name attribute needs to be same, whereas the values for the value attributes needs to be distinguished with all the options. That means all the options should have the different values for the value attribute here, followed by the name over here. Okay. So how this will be sent, how the query string will be constructed here, it has been given here. You can see here, for example, in this case, the two options has been selected by the user. Since it is a checkbox, it is going to allow the user to select the more than one option here. Right, so the Canada and Germany has been selected, and how it will be sent or how it will be indicated to the server that these two options has been selected by the user, you can see here. So question mark followed by the except is equal to. So what is this except here, which has been selected by the user, is equal to on, and you can see here. So visit is the value that you have taken for the name attribute. So visit is equal to Canada and visit is equal to Germany. So the value that you have taken for the value attribute will be taken. In case here, if you take it as a 1, 2 or 1, 2 and 3, so here it will be ampersand visit is equal to 1 and visit is equal to 3. So whatever the values that you are going to take here, that will be considered here for constructing the query string while sending it to the server side. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the all together I'll discuss it first theoretically, then do you have any other class after this? Do you have any other class after this, so that I can continue for another 10 to 15 minutes?
No, ma'am, no one told yet.
Okay. So other kind of the buttons that you are going to create in the form is submit button, reset button, and one more is a button itself to create the customized button. And you can also create the image as a button, and you can create any thing as a, you can create the customized button to include the anything within that. Okay, so with an example we are going to see all these things, how you are going to use them, and how they are going to appear on the web page, right? So these submit and reset buttons are going to be created at the end of the form. So if you see any form in the internet, you can see these two buttons. So what is the purpose of using these two buttons are, so once if you click on the submit button, whatever the values that is filled in the form will be sent to the server. So for that you should have the processing file on the server side. So on submit or the on submit. So right now you are not going to see any difference over here, but we'll see only how to create these buttons over there. So if you create the reset button, and if you are going to click on the reset, whatever the values that has been filled by the user on that form will be deleted. It will be reset to the new thing, or it will wait for the new data to be filled by the user. Okay, so input type is equal to button, which is going to create the custom button where you are going to give a name of your choice. See here, if you take it as an input type is equal to submit and input type is equal to reset. So these two are going to create the buttons with the label as a submit and reset only. So where you will not be able to change the name of those buttons if you take them as a type is equal to submit or type is equal to reset. So in case if you want the clickable button with your name of or name of your choice, so at that time you can go for using the input type is equal to button, and we'll see how to give our own name over there, right? So in any cases, if you want to create the image as a clickable button, you can go for using the input type is equal to image. Okay, so in the next case, not if the only the label or the image, if you want to include the more options within the button itself, so in that case you can simply go for using the button as an element, and we'll see how to create that with an example only. Okay, So this is how it will be created. If you create, this is how it is going to be visible on the form if you take the input type is equal to button or input type is equal to reset. So as I told you that by default the name of the buttons will be submit or the reset in case of the type is equal to submit or type is equal to reset. Right. So in this case you can see here input type is equal to button has been taken with a value attribute as a click me. That means whenever you want to create your own button of the name of your choice, at the time you can go for using the type is equal to button, but the attribute to give the name to this button is value, in which you are going to tell so what the name, what should be the name of this button, that is click me. Here it has been taken as a click me, through which click me as a button will be taken as a label here. Okay. So in case if you want to create the image as a clickable button, at the time you can go for taking the input type is equal to image followed by the source as a attribute to tell that what image to be taken on the button. See, whenever you are going to use this kind of the input, make sure that the size of the image needs to be proper to fit it as a button over there. Okay, if the size is not proper, probably the image will not be able to display over there. Okay. So this is, these two are the customized buttons. See, as I told you that you can go for creating the customized button in which if you want to put a image along with the link on that button, so you can go for doing that. You can see a button element, start with the button element, so followed by you want to make a link within that element, for which as usual you can go for taking the anchor element, so followed by the required attributes. Along with that, see here if you click on this button, it has to open the email page, right? So in that case you want to create a link within that button. Along with that, you just want to put this logo here, which is in the form of the image. So how to do that? Within the button element itself, use the anchor element. Within the anchor element, take the image over there and close the anchor element and close the button. So this together is going to create a clickable button in which both the image as well as the link has been taken here. Okay, so this is how you will be able to create the various options in the form. Let's see now with an example. Before I show you the code, I just want to show you the execution first and see how it is visible, and based upon that we will see how we have defined the elements with the possible attributes over there. Okay. Is this screen visible to you here? Is it visible here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can see here the various options that has been created here. So probably it has been created with the select element. So for which I think I might have used the size attribute as a 3 to make the default 3 options visible, right? So to know how many different other options are visible over there, so a drop arrow is going to be displayed over there. By clicking on that, you will be able to see the other options as well, right? So if you want to select anything, you can just click on that particular option over there. Okay, so the next one is done with the again the by using the select element, in which you have created the options but you have not taken the size attribute. That's why you are able to see only the one option as a default over there. To see the rest of the options that has been created here, click on this drop down menu, so where you can see the all the options that you have created here. So you can see here is it visible, right? So if I click on this drop down menu, are you able to see all the options here?
No.
No. I don't know why it is not visible over there, but it is visible to me. Anyhow, I'll just take the screenshot here and try to put it on the slide there. Okay, so later on I'll show you. Right, so whatever is visible, you just see here. Okay, so is this radio buttons are visible here?
Yes, ma'am.
If I select on any one button, are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the check boxes that has been created here. So as I told you, you'll be able to select the multiple options. If you wish, you can select the all the options over here. Right, so you can see here, this is a customized button that has been created just to create the button of your choice. Right, so right now it is not going to perform any action. Why? Because we have just created a static form over here, for which we have not written any program for the processing over there. So once we write the JavaScript file or the PHP file, so in order to do the processing, at that time we'll get to know what happens if we are going to use all these options over there. Right, so this is a image which is in the clickable form. Again, I have not written anything for that, so that's why you are not able to see the any action once you click the anything over here. Right, so the last one, this one is the where you have created the customized button in which you have the image as well and you have the link as well. At least it is visible here, this part. So this form is an image or the logo that I have put, and along with that here a link has been created here, which is a registration form, which probably I have given the link to the other HTML file that I might have created in this file. So if I click on that, you will see here it is going to get you to the other HTML page where you can give the various details in order to say it as a registration file here. Is it visible? Can see here, if I click on this registration link, it is going to take you to the other HTML file which say it as a registration fields are provided here. Okay. Okay. So you can see here at the last form has the two buttons, submit button and the reset button. Right. So if I click on the reset button, are you able to see the options that I have selected here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I click on the reset button, you can see here all the options is going to be deleted here. Okay, so it is going to reset all the values to make everything to be selected once again. In case of the reset button, you need not have to write the any separate action for this. So by default, if you use the reset button, it is going to remove the, or else it is going to remove the all the data filled by the user. So at the last, the submit button, in order to submit the data filled by you. So when you will be able to see the any particular action on this, only when you write the respective JavaScript file or the PHP. So we'll see it in the further modules. You have those sections in the third and the fourth module, that how to process the data that has been filled in the form. So right now you just concentrate on the different options that you can create in the form here. Okay, so at least you are clear with this output here, so that we'll see what we have done in order to get these kind of the options in the form there. Okay, so you can see the rest of the things whatever I have discussed in the slides. So the same elements I have used here. Right, so you can see here within the form with the countries label, so which you have seen in the output that by default it is going to show you the okay, so the program is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think you have seen in the output, right? So even I have that screenshot over here. Okay, so if you are able to see the screenshot over here, just concentrate here what we have done for writing this program. So in this first option, whatever I shown you, by default it is going to show you the three options, which is done with this select element with the attribute size as 3, and to add the elements, to add the different options to it, use the option element. Correct. So to the next one where we have created. So this was not visible at the time of the execution, right? So the countries, once I click on this drop down menu, you can see these options under the different groups here. The North America has the 2 cities, and whereas the Europe has the 3 cities. So how that has been done here? Using the opt group as a element with the label attribute to give the label to that group, and add all the options to that group, close that group, and similarly you can take the as many groups as you want. So at the end you just close the select element after adding all the options over there, right? So follow to that, what you had follow to that, I think you have the radio buttons that has been created here. So how we have created the radio button? Using the input element, the type value needs to be radio in case of the radio buttons, and followed by the name attribute with the same values for all the radio buttons, and the value attribute with the different values for the each radio button, followed by the label of that radio button, right? So use the br element in order to get into the new line for the next radio button over there, right? So similarly, we have created the checkboxes here using the input element with the type attribute value as a checkbox. Again, the name attribute should have the same values, and the value attribute should have the different values for the each option here, followed by the name of that checkbox and using the break line. Okay. So the next option is where I want to create my customized clickable button. So in which the input type is button, and value attribute should have the label what you want to give to that button. Here in this case, click me has been taken, and close this here itself. Okay. So in this cases also, even if you are going to skip, I think the HTML file is going to ignore that, but it would be good that if you are going to close all these elements here itself. In this case, you can go for closing all these elements here itself. Okay. So follow to that, as I told you, that when you want to make the image as a clickable button, you can go for using the input element with the type value as an image, followed by the source attribute to tell that which image you want to take over there, by giving or restricting with the proper sizes to make it to fit to as a button over there. Okay. So the rest were cases where you want to create a button which should have image as well as a link. In that case, you have to go for using the button as an element, not the input type. Button itself as an element, under which before closing that button, you have to take the link, and within that link you need to take an image in case if you want to put an image also to that button. Right. So in this case, you can see here within the anchor element, I have taken the h reference is equal to form.html, which I have created to make it appear as a registration. If I click on that, it has to go to this form to show all the fields over there. Okay. So at the last, I want to create the 2 buttons for the submission and the resetting. So which has been done with the input element with the type value as a submit, and input element with the type value as a reset here. Is it clear to every one of you? Is it clear to every one of you? This example.
Yes, ma'am.
What about others? So this was the output screenshot that we have seen. Okay. So the rest of the things I'll continue in the next class only. Okay. So you have the several other things to be included. But I think I have discussed almost all the elements that you can create as a form, right? So can you just note down this form? I just want all of you this. See, this is an example how you can create the form to define the, or else to define it as a form, or to define all the elements over here. Okay. So can you try it out before attending the next class? You can see here 3 input text boxes has been created, followed by you have the table under which you have the again at the last. So the table has these the first 2 columns are the static values, whereas the last column, only the last column have the input to be taken. That too, these are the text boxes here, followed by the payment method as a heading, and the options provided in the form of a radio buttons, and at the last the buttons are the submit and the reset here. Okay. So can you try this song before attending the next class? So this is how the this is just to demonstrate that how you can create a simple form here. Will you try it? Right. Right. So note down this. Note down this. The question might be asked. This is one of the question that has been asked with the earlier syllabus. The syllabus for the WTA, which was earlier to your stream, was given in this way in order to construct a form. So it is actually the question was framed as a textual question over there. Just a minute.